What is it about licensed games that makes us so fond of them? Is it the recognizable brand, or the recognizable brand? Most licensed games have a bad reputation, and that's because most of them suck. But when a decent one comes around, people cling to it like the game got them through a divorce. Or their parents' divorce. Licensed games get an advantage because the great characters and iconography is already established. You just have to make a competent game. During the 8-bit and 16-bit era, this was not the case. In fact, many of these licensed games barely resemble the license. Not saying that there were some great ones that came out during this time, but I think the 3D era is when licensed games truly shined. Sure, we had a lot of stinkers, but the ones that were good weren't just good for licensed games, they were good games. So I wanted to take a look at some of the games that defined my childhood and most likely yours as well. While we were scarfing down green Twinkies and Heinz Easy Squeeze, one of the most crucial parts of the Shrek 2 hype train was Shrek 2, the game. You're beating up guys, solving basic puzzles, and basically going in a straight line with the occasional backtracking. You can switch between 4 characters, and the CPUs can range from absolutely stupid to just regular stupid. This game was definitely made for co-op, because sometimes the CPUs can literally hold you back. This game fills in the gaps of Shrek 2, which includes shit that never happens and fuckers nobody's ever seen. It's funny how the game shoehorns in 4 characters. Like when Shrek and Donkey first meet Puss in Boots, Red Riding Hood and Gingy are just there. Also, Gingy is 3 feet tall and is the best character, objectively. It's a very standard beat-em-up puzzle platformer co-op game that was surprisingly similar to other licensed games at the time. But I played it as a kid, so it's actually great that the Cinderella mission takes forever. Spider-Man games used to suck. Until 2000, where we got the first great Spider-Man experience. Spider-Man. Not to be confused with Spider-Man, 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 or Spider-Man. I'm sure this game has given some of you a real nostalgia blast right now. This is one of the most packed games in terms of Spidey content. You got Venom, Carnage, Black Cat, Doc Ock, Scorpion, Rhino, the Lizard, and even other Marvel characters like the Human Torch and Daredevil. This scene used to be just a fun Easter egg. Now it would cost millions of dollars and take 2 months of licensing negotiations. This game's Spidey is voiced by Reno Romano, who voiced him in Unlimited, and he has that perfect demeanor of a Boy Scout who's completely done with your shit.
We're partners, but only for now. After we bust those tech thieves, it's payback time for kidnapping my wife.
Jeez, one little mistake. We said we're sorry.
It's also my favorite version of Venom. He's like a big, cuddly, stupid killer teddy bear.
We must stop him.
Now?
Yes, now. We have no choice.
Controls and gameplay are pretty simple, plus the game only takes about 3 hours to beat, but it packs so much variety in the stages that it never feels boring. Plus, there's tons of unlocks and cheat codes to make it super replayable. It's a PS1 game, so there's no open world, and it's understandable that you're swinging on Uncle Ben. My only complaint is that the web swinging can feel a little delayed, and it feels like you have to cheese a lot of the bosses. Other than that, this game is great. It even has Stan Lee as the narrator.
Ah, New York's finest.
Man, it's nice that Stan Lee had such a great voice. Can you imagine if he forced himself into these projects, but he had a weird voice?
Okay, Spider-Man, bad guys over there, you better watch out for the gas of the...
While there have been many great Spider-Man games after it, 2004's Spider-Man 2 is still the best Spider-Man game. It has the best web swinging of any Spider-Man game because it actually respects your intelligence. Insomniac's Spider-Man can feel kind of automatic, which makes it lose its replayability. But in Spidey 2, you are in full control, which means you might lose all your momentum crashing into a building or fall to your death. But once you start getting the hang of the controls, it's one of the most fun traversal methods in any game. And that's before you even get the upgrades. While 2018 had fine combat, it was kind of derivative of the Arkham combat. Spider-Man 2's combat is pretty jank, but it is fun. Although a lot of these Spider-Man games have that one move where, once you unlock it, that's all you're going to be doing. It's also hilariously violent how you can play with a ragdoll long after you've beaten them up.
Am I good enough now, Dad? Am I good enough now?
With an open world on GameCube, the game's graphics aren't spectacular, especially the pinata NPCs, but it gives you plenty of tall buildings to swing off of. Tobey Maguire's performance in this game screams contractually obligated.
You are no match for the power of Mysterio.
Mysterio? I think I had a bowl of Mysterios for breakfast.
Great take, Toby. Moving on. No disrespect to the other Spider-Man voice actors, but Tobey's completely dead-inside delivery adds an extra layer of humor to this game. I think even if this game wasn't as fun as it is, hearing a big A-lister wearing a "I really wish I weren't here right now" button is pretty hilarious.
There are cars there, motherfucker!
This is still the best Spider-Man game, and it's a great game you can just chill out with. So put on Mozart in the left ear and the Chinese Bible in the right ear, and get swinging. You know who had a bad transition to 3D? Batman. 1998's Batman and Robin combines an adventure game, a beat-em-up, an RPG, and a driving game within an open world on the PS1. All the elements of this game are super ambitious. It's too bad that none of them are good. Batman operates on tank controls, and nothing against tank controls, but they don't work well in an open world where you need to explore stuff.
Haters gonna hate.
You do have to explore and gather clues to know where to go, which is fitting for Batman, but this open world is not fun to explore. You can accidentally kill civilians though. Feel their pain. Even when the game tells you what to do, navigating with these controls and camera is just awful. This one isn't worth checking out, although it's the closest we'll ever get to Man, the game. This might be the most video gamey game I've ever played. Batman Forever, the arcade game. You know how most games try to immerse you, even if it's a fantasy world? Well, with this game, there's no suspension of disbelief. There's just disbelief. You have voice lines overlapping each other, Batman summoning the lightning gods to his crotch, Batman swinging like one of those little monkey toys, and everything is flying at the screen like it's trying to sell you 3D glasses. It's absolutely insane and I love it. It's definitely an arcade game because it is very difficult. Enemies can take out your entire health bar in one combo, and Batman's hitbox isn't the most clear. It's not a very in-depth beat-em-up, but my god, is it fun. This is the game where boys became men children. Lego Racers, a kart racer based on the Lego sets of the 90s. A time where I thought Indiana Jones was a ripoff of Johnny Thunder. The game has a surprisingly in-depth kart builder. This is what peak performance looks like. There's 7 circuits leading up to a race with Rocket Racer. I will never be him. There are 4 types of items that you can upgrade with the white blocks. None of them matter except the full-powered boost, which takes you through a time portal way ahead of everyone else. How do you know if you're gonna teleport into a wall? You don't. It does make the game feel more luck-based, because if you're not warping, you're not winning. The track design isn't as robust as Mario Kart, and ironically, the Legos on the track are the worst part because they're just squares you can get stuck behind. Still, this game isn't too bad of a kart racer, especially if you grew up in this era of Lego. As a kid that loves Lego and was a child, I thought this game was awesome. Also, fuck Basil the Bat. Beyblade might be the coolest toy ever. As we all know, the best toys are the ones that can potentially kill you. Beyblade is so cool that trying to make an anime or video game out of it would be less exciting than just playing with Beyblades. Well, they did make an anime and a video game on GameCube, Beyblade Super Tournament Battle. You're probably wondering how they could make a Beyblade game. The answer? Bad. The way it works is you launch your Beyblade and then you move slightly. That's it. You can bump into your opponent and try to knock them off, but it's a crapshoot who wins. They really captured the Beyblade experience where, after you let it rip, you just watch your Beyblade. There's also these special moves which take way too damn long, and when they're over, you lose track of where you are and accidentally move to your death. There really isn't that much player input in this game. You're just supposed to keep losing so you can upgrade your Beyblade, and then eventually, you might win. It looks incredibly cheap too. The Beyblades are the only 3D models, and I'm shocked it even has voice acting. This game is garbage. And back then, it would have been cheaper and more exciting to just play with your own Beyblades. If you were born in the 90s, your only real reference to Godzilla was the American movie and Reptar. But in 2002, Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee introduced a whole new generation to the real Godzilla and his squad. This is the giant monster fighting game. You can punch, kick, grab, laser, and throw buildings across an entire city. It's not a complex fighter, but damn is it fun to button mash. They really nailed the sense of scale. You feel like a gigantic force of destruction walking across the city. There was a sequel, Save the Earth, which added more characters and challenges. And then Unleashed, which actually looks worse than the previous two. I would say stick with Melee for the gameplay, and Save the Earth for the extra characters. This game made me want to TiVo Godzilla vs. Gigan on the Sci-Fi Channel. And wow, did that movie suck. Good game though. Let's remind ourselves of the cycle of abuse with Shamu's Deep Sea Adventure, the game where you play as a killer whale. So this fat ass gives you the slowest tutorial ever, and then he gives you another tutorial every time you move 2 feet. And then a Kraken shows up. That went from 0 to 100. It's funny that the first thing you do has nothing to do with that long ass tutorial. After that, it's pretty much an Echo the Dolphin clone, but less confusing. You collect stuff, solve basic puzzles, and show other fish who's boss. There's a part where you have to sneak behind the Kraken, but you also need to pick up these crystals. But you need these boost waves to catch up with the Kraken. But then you can't move, and then you miss the crystals, and it tells you to start over. Screw this. This is the second worst thing Shamu's been involved with. Everyone grew up with their TMNT game, and this one was mine. Based on the 2003 cartoon, the game does a good job of telling the story from Season 1, with voice acting, clips from the show, and a cel-shaded art style that still looks good today. Unfortunately, the gameplay doesn't hold up as well. It's a simple beat-em-up, and when I say simple, I mean brain dead. You only have so many moves, and you're gonna hear the same voice lines 1,000 times.
Out of my way!
The game only takes about 3 hours to beat, but then you have to beat the game 4 times. Each turtle also gets unique bosses, which they would say is for variety, but it is obvious padding. Even as a kid, I thought this was bullshit. If there was a mod that let you switch between turtles on the fly, had all the bosses in one run, and you only had to beat the game once, this actually wouldn't be too bad. Jackie Chan has had a lot of games. A platformer, 2 fighting games. Well, that's pretty much it, but I think Jackie Chan's Stuntmaster really captures the Jackie Chan experience. First of all, just look at these models. Yeah, they kind of look like the thumb people from Spy Kids, but they're just the right amount of cartoony that it becomes charming. Plus, you have Jackie Chan's real face and voice on a chunky polygonal model. The game is a beat-em-up with some fun set pieces fitting for Jackie Chan. Pick up whatever you can and use it as a weapon, and knock enemies into breakable environments, all to rescue your grandfather. It's a simple but fun time, and anyone who's a fan of Jackie Chan or beat-em-ups will get a kick out of this one. Nightmare Before Christmas Devil May Cry is one of my dream games, but unfortunately, this one falls short. It's a fully original sequel released 11 years after the movie. I'm guessing it was made to capitalize on the film's newfound emo audience at the time. Its combat and camera is shockingly similar to Devil May Cry, although its combat is mind-numbingly simple and you can't jump. There are upgrades later in the game, but you're going to be doing a lot of the same moves with your 25-cent sticky hand toy. The game captures the aesthetic of the movie perfectly, although you're pretty limited on where you can actually go. Fans will like this game for a little bit, but this combat will become too repetitive even for the biggest Hot Topic shopper. Also, I hope you like This Is Halloween, because it plays throughout the entire game.
Da 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 da. Da, 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 da.
You know that game that you've played before? Well, it turns out SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom is a fun game. This is one of the worst rated PS1 games ever. Flintstones Bedrock Bowling. Bowling, in quotation marks. It's more like a sled game where you're trying to knock down pins while going downhill. The story is the Great Gazoo. Who cares? This game has 5 characters, 10 levels, 3 bonus levels, and that's it. You can 100% this game in less than an hour. That is, if the game can even stay running that long. There's no unlockable characters or unique endings, and even then, those wouldn't help the game. I guess I can say the controls aren't as bad as I thought they would be, but my god, the physics. Oh, my neck. Yabba dabba do not play this. The worst part of digital games is that they can get delisted. The most tragic delisting was Transformers Devestation. This is one of the greatest action games ever made. A combination of Bayonetta and Vanquish with G1 Transformers. It's a platinum game, so the combat is amazing. You've got all these combos, weapons, you can transform mid-combo, ram into Decepticons, shoot guns, and pull off one of the most satisfying drop kicks ever. The story feels like an episode of the show. You have 5 playable characters that all feel unique. Although let's be real, you're gonna play Optimus when you have the chance. There are a ton of weapons to choose from, but there's this crafting system for new weapons with barely different RPG stats. It's my only complaint. I think a regular upgrade or shop system would have worked better. Other than that, this game is amazing. It's a shame it got delisted. The physical versions can be pretty pricey, but the PC keys are ungodly expensive. So just sail the 7 seas. Optimus Prime approves piracy. You ever worry that you'll revisit a game from your childhood and it won't be as good as you remember? Well, that's not the case with Toy Story 2, because this game still rocks. It's a 3D platformer similar to Banjo-Kazooie, and while it's obviously not on the same level of quality as Banjo-Kazooie, it's still a very solid 3D platformer. You can contort yourself or fire your laser to take down enemies, and you can even go into first person and see your reflection in your helmet. The game does take some creative liberties to add more content. Remember when Buzz fought the slime monster? While the levels can be frustrating at times, I love a game where you're a tiny thing exploring a giant world. It's such a fun concept for a platformer. If you're a fan of Toy Story or 3D platformers, this one is definitely worth checking out.
I am Buzz Lightyear. I come.
Wow. What a wholly original video. It's a shame that licensed games have kind of become a relic. Rarely will you get a game that's based on an actual movie or show. Ever since Arkham Asylum, the strategy is to make a AAA game with a big IP. I think the charm of these old licensed games is a smaller developer working with a smaller budget, but still being able to experiment with these recognizable characters. A lot of the biggest studios started out making licensed games. Nowadays, it seems like we can't get something like Hulk Ultimate Destruction without it costing $200 million, being a live service game, and eventually being canceled. Alright, enough nostalgia. Break's over.
Sorry for the clip show.